Good morning, good morning. Welcome to 4x8 Paper Stuff. This is Beth. Welcome to My Time to Journal, an untrained person playing with lots of art supplies and having fun. Join me. Good morning, good morning. So, we started last night doing today's spread because the night before last, for you, I needed this to dry, and I prefer things to dry naturally. There's just an extra added oomph somewhere. To me, my untrained eye, that happens when you dry things naturally. So I took that, what is this called? It's called Art Graph, and it's kind of like an old-fashioned sewing tool of tailor's chalk, and it's in the tailor's chalk shape, but it's some kind of water-soluble lusciousness. I don't know. So I took that with lots of water on the back side of the page from yesterday for you, and then with my Stabilos tried to darken the edges a little bit more, and not make it it's so obvious, but then I realized it wasn't showing up as much as I wanted it to, so I made it more obvious, but that's okay. And then I had extra paint, so I had to, get rid of all of that, and my tailor's chalk was still wet. It's not called tailor's chalk, but it's called Viocot Tailor Shape, or something like that, water soluble. Anyhow, okay, so this morning coming in, I had dry vintage paper. Now, in my world, I'm not an artist, but I try to pretend like I try to fake it a couple times a week. And I was going to use this washi tape, but then I realized it had a lot more images of London on it. So I took some words out of there, and then I started making up my own words and just kind of scribbling on a journal page. There's a dog barking behind me because my husband went to go get his oil change, and he can't stand being by himself or without my husband. Sorry. So that was a mama rant of a dog's mom. So anyhow, I don't want this to be symmetrical, even though math is a huge part of this person's life. But I just started adding stuff, and then I repeated it, and just math terms and a little bit of the words from the washi tape just to give me a jumping off point, and then comes the stamp. Okay, so now you know I'm doing Da Vinci. So what if Da Vinci had seen Yosemite with all of its granite and all of its splendor and all of its high cliffs? And can you do math based on those cliffs? Can you figure out how tall they are? Blah, 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 blah. The arc of the sphere or whatever of Half Dome. So then I started tearing out the words of this washi tape because it's sort of clear, and putting them in. I'm making clusters of stamping, writing washi tape just to give this journal spread a Da Vinci look from one of his old journals that you can see on the internet and things like that, and tearing it in bits and pieces to just represent lots of writing that he did in his journals and math terms and things like that from way back when that I don't have in my head even now. And then just kind of adding a little bit more texture to the background with the Stabilo, not even getting it wet. And then I'm like, okay, where do I go? How does this tie into Yosemite? How would he see Yosemite? So in one of his pages that I saw on Google Images somewhere, there's obviously a lot of math involved, and he was drawing mechanical flying objects when there was no flight even possible or even being thought of. And I mean, all the math that he used in a lot of his stuff, and I'm trying to replicate some of that and some of his notes in his journals without knowing hardly what pi even is, and except for blueberry or strawberry or key lime. But I do know what pi is, but anyhow. So I'm just trying to draw circles and arcs and joints that he had in his journals and things that look like if you pick this up off the beach somewhere, it was like, oh my gosh, I found a journal page from Da Vinci. What is all this? Did he go to Yosemite? I don't know. Anyhow, in one page I saw a picture of him like doodling body parts and things like that, which I'm going to do. But so I called it Da Vinci Math in the Woods. And the icons of Yosemite are Half Dome, Yosemite Falls, El Capitan, things like that, but there are, the beautiful trees, obviously, the gorgeous redwoods everywhere. So this is my version of a very rough image of El Capitan and him trying to figure out the math of Half Dome, not El Capitan, Half Dome. And this, all of this is very rudimentary and very, and then I drew in some redwoods. And all of this is very, elementary and my take on what I love and love looking at, but I have to do it with the skills that I have. Why I put it on YouTube is beyond me, except that I love the creating on YouTube also. But these ideas coming together are so much fun and so inspiring and so jumping off points for other stuff. So take one and go for it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.